Well, dear students, I welcome you all in our channel, and today our topic is active and passivize. Today our lecture is just the introduction. It is the part 1 in which we are going to learn that what is the activize and then what is the passivize. Very well, now you can please join me in this adventure, and just we are going to take help from Miss Cat and Mr. Rat to help us understand that basically what is the active and passive voice, right? So please, first of all, above we have written the sentence. If you go through the sentence, if you read the sentence, it says the cat chased the mouse. This sentence has three parts. In red color, we have the cat, which is the subject, which is the doer, the performer, the actor, and it has the importance because it is coming at the beginning of the sentence. So something which is at the beginning of the sentence, which comes at the start, it has the value, it has the importance. So it means that in this sentence, the cat has the importance. Then we have in blue color the verb chased. This is the action that is performed by the cat, and then we have the verb the mouse. So the poor mouse is basically the object, right? So the mouse is the object which is receiving the action. So it means that we have the three things in this sentence: the subject, the verb, and the object. Formula is subject plus verb plus object, and this is the sign of the active voice. In active voice, we simply use a subject at the start of the sentence, then we have the verb without using the third form, and before third form we don't use be, and when then we don't use by, and simply we use the object. So simply we use subject plus verb plus object. So this is the formula of the active voice. And if we read at the bottom, it is written in active voice, the subject of the sentence is doing the action and the doer is the most important. So in active voice, the subject has all the importance, right? Now, moving to the next slide, here we are going to learn about the passive voice. But first of all, above we have written the same sentence, which we are going to convert, change into the passive voice. The cat chased the mouse. Remember, we have the past form chased, right? So it is a past tense. So when we change this sentence into the passive voice, if you look at what is the passive voice, the sentence is written. Now, if you can kindly read the sentence, the mouse was chased by the cat. Now, here we have the passive voice. So, what is the passive voice? Simply, we interchange the positions of the subject and the object. Instead of object, we use the subject, and instead of the subject, we use the object. So you can see Mr. Rat is now enjoying the position at the beginning of the sentence. So he has the value. The the rat has the value, right? So the thing which occupies the place in front of the sentence at the beginning of the sentence, it has the value. So when object becomes important and the subject goes in the end of the sentence, it loses the value. So this is called the passive voice, right? So other changes are there. The mouse was chased. Now we in blue color we have the verb phrase, and the verb phrase is telling us that there are some changes in the verb as well. But please don't worry, I will explain you. And first of all, we always use the same main verb, but always in the third form of the verb, right? And before it we use be form, and be form in the past is was or were, right? So mouse is singular, so we are using was. Once again, the mouse was chased by the cat, right? So we can see the cat, which was the subject, it has changed its place, it has come in the end of the sentence, and the mouse has gone to the place of the cat, right? So this is the change. Now after that, we are moving to another slide just to practice. We have understood a bit that what is the active voice and what is the passive voice. Now for further strengthening our knowledge, for the reinforcement, to understand better, we are going to check. First of all, we have activize. The doer is first. Who is the doer? The subject in red color, the chef, the cook. The chef cooked the pizza. Now, what is the formula? Subject plus verb plus object, right? So if we interchange the positions of the subject and object, so active voice will become passive voice. For example, you can see at the bottom of the same slide, the pizza was cooked by the chef. Now you have seen that we have interchanged the position. The pizza, which was the object, it has replaced the position of the subject. It has come at the start, at the beginning of the sentence, right? The pizza. Then we have the verb phrase in blue color, was cooked. By whom? By the chef. So the subject has come in the end of the sentence, and before we are using by. So these are the signs of the passive voice. Objects, it comes at the start of the sentence. In the middle, we use be, and then we use a third form of the action verb, then we use by, and then the subject is always in the end of the sentence. So this is the passive voice. We are moving to another slide. Practice makes a man perfect. One more practice, one more sentence. My dad washed the car. Now, in red color, dad is the subject who is enjoying the most respectable position, no doubt. He is at the start. Washed is the verb, and the car is the object, which is in the end of the sentence. Now, if I want to pay more attention, more focus to the car, I will use the passive voice. In passive voice, the object gets importance. So the car was washed by my dad. So here you can see the object has replaced the position of the subject, and the positions are interchanged. The car is the object which is coming at the start, at the beginning of the sentence. Then we have the verb phrase was washed, which is the third form of the verb, and before we are using the be form was, and then by, and then my dad, that is the subject. Now, moving to another slide, the last slide, for the practice. Yes, the kids ate the cookies. Remember, ate is the second form of the verb eat. Eat, ate, eaten, right? So, the kids, this is basically the subject. The kids ate, this is the verb in blue color, and the cookies is the poor object, which is receiving the action, right? So now if I were to convert it into passive voice, what is the formula? Object plus verb plus by plus subject, right? So this is the formula. Here we are using the formula, applying the formula, and now the cookies, you see at the bottom, the cookies were eaten by the kids, right? You have understood now. The cookies, which is the object, it has come at the beginning of the sentence. Then the verb phrase in blue color, were eaten. We use the third form of the action verb, the same action verb. Action verb is not changed, but in passive voice we always use a third form of the verb, and before that we are using be, and in past the be is was or were. Since cookies is the plural form, so I'm using were. So were eaten by whom? By the kids. Kids basically is the subject. Now you can see that this is the simple formula we apply, and we convert the sentences from active voice to passive voice. Now before we leave, let me introduce our next lesson, which is again about the active and passive voice, but in the present tense. So we will discuss present indefinite, present continuous, and present perfect tense. So please try to visit our channel, and hopefully you will learn a lot in a very simple and interesting manner. Thank you very much. See you next time.